If you think of anxieties related to language and communication, then the first one that may come to mind is public speaking. So some people really have fear of public speaking, which makes a lot of sense, right? Because it can be kind of scary if you have to present, if you have to speak up to a full room of people. But still, it also seems like this is something you cannot completely always avoid. For instance, if you're a student, you sometimes have to speak for a full classroom, or if you're a witness at a wedding, it might be the case that you have to say something to many people at the same time. Or for instance, if you're leaving your job, you might be expected to deliver a certain speech to say goodbye. So this is anxiety that many people have. And of course, this can also be treated. It can be treated in different ways. It can be treated so-called in vitro. So there the idea is that you're being treated for your public speaking anxiety in a way that you're asked to imagine that you're doing this activity. So you are asked to imagine delivering a speech for a full room of people. And by practicing it like this, the idea is that this might sort of decrease a little bit your fear. Of course, this comes with problems because it's kind of hard to imagine a real audience. It's nothing like the real experience. So therefore also it doesn't always work too well. Another way in which this can be treated, and this of course is related to this exposure therapy, is what they call in vivo, so in real life. So there you could just practice this. First you could deliver a speech for a small group of people, and then for a somewhat larger audience. But also this comes with problems because it's kind of hard to find a real audience, right? You need to find some people who want to listen to you, have time for this, etc. So you see where this is going. Of course, in virtual reality, what has been developed is so-called virtual reality exposure therapy, especially for public speaking, such that in VR, you can practice your public speaking skills in many different ways for different audiences. And the idea is if you practice this in VR over and over again, you sort of get used to speaking to an audience that looks real, that can behave in different ways. And this, because this is an application, the hope is that this generalizes to your performance, to your behavior in everyday life, in the real world, such that if you've practiced this many, many times in VR, your anxiety will slowly but surely disappear in real life. You get more used to public speaking, to looking at an audience. And also in the real world, this should help you. And research has found that this is just as effective as this in vivo practicing, this in vivo training of public speaking. So that's very nice. And the dropout rates, so people dropping out of the therapy, are even lower. So it seems like this is a very good solution for this particular anxiety. This is what it could look like. You stick your phone into one of those cardboard devices. This is what you see because it presents some different information to your two eyes. You see this in 3D, and there's your virtual audience as if you're in a meeting room delivering a speech. And you can practice this as many times as you like at home, during the weekend, right before you have to deliver this actual speech. And also the audience can take different types of behaviors. So you can even select an audience that looks very bored, as if it's a real audience. So you can sort of practice how to speak to an audience that's being a little bit bored. Or you can speak to an audience with many people that look very important. So you can really tailor the audience to the public speaking event that you're facing in your real life just to practice.